You got CrashPlan backing up, but you want to make sure that everything is working correctly. You want to check the status of your backup in the admin console, but you aren't sure how. I'm Brian, and I'm happy to help. The first thing you can check to determine the status of your backup is the archive size. You can compare the size to the amount of data that you're backing up and determine if the size seems appropriate. Keep in mind that CrashPlan compresses data before it's stored, so it's often smaller than the amount of data selected. If there's a lot of duplicate data on the endpoint, that will reduce the comparative size as well. In the console, when you click on a device, you are taken to the device detail window. Here you can find the used storage. If you compare the number to the selected size, you should get some idea as to whether the device has been backing up successfully or not. If there's a huge discrepancy between these numbers, something may be amiss. You can also check on the status of your backup by looking at the backup activity. From the device details page, we can see the backup status, last activity time, and last completed time. The percent listed in the backup status area indicates what portion of the file selection has been backed up. There are a number of things that can make this percentage fluctuate, and we won't go through those now, but please note that the other two fields are more reliable indicators of backup health. Last activity tells you when the device last performed any backup activity, and last completed tells you the last time that 100% of the files in the file selection were completely backed up. If you do see a high percentage of your data backed up and recent activity, your backup is likely pretty healthy. Sometimes a small number of files can't be backed up for one reason or another, so the last completed number may not be as recent. If you see that your last activity number is recent but your last completed number is not, you may want to check the history log to see what it says about recent backups. A device must be online to access its history log from the console. If the device is online, when you click the history log, the server will reach out to the client and request the log of its backup activity. You should see when backups start, how much data is being backed up, and the status when they stop. If the ending messages say completed, then everything that was in the to-do list at that time was backed up. If they say stopped, then there was more to do, but the backup had to stop for some reason or another. Sometimes you'll see completed, but then it will say that there were a number of files that were unable to be backed up. This indicates that CrashPlan was unable to get a usable copy of the file to backup, and the files will be put back into the to-do list for the next backup. If you see this message a lot, you may want to investigate. The CrashPlan support site has articles titled Unable to Backup Files for each OS that will be helpful in that case. You can also check the status of your backup by looking in the Restore window. From the device details screen, you'll click on the Restore button to pull up the Restore window. Anything you see in the Restore window has been successfully backed up. If you put a check in the top level folder in the file system, then let the restore calculate, you can see how much data is available to be restored. The calculation is complete when you see green check marks next to the amount of files, folders, and size for the restore. Compare the totals to what you expect to be backed up. If they're significantly different, your backup may not be functioning as expected. Finally, as an admin, you can run a device backup report from the reporting section of the admin console. To limit the amount of data you receive, you may want to set some of the options for which devices it will show you information about. Once you've got your desired filters set, you'll click Run Report, and the matching devices will be shown at the bottom of the screen. The results here will provide all the information that is available in the emailed backup report, as well as many other aspects of the device's backup. You can select which fields you want to display by clicking on the Sliders button in the upper left of the table, then checking any of the items that you would find helpful. The report that you have run will be filtered to only show those items. Viewing all the possible aspects of the backup report is difficult in a browser, but you can click on the Export Records button to export the file that contains all of the data from your report. This file will be in a comma-separated value format and should be able to be opened in the spreadsheet program. You now have several ways to check the status of your backups, and know where to find those in your CrashPlan admin console. If your backups don't appear to be functioning as expected, please don't hesitate to contact our support team. We're happy to help.